of ways, social media has gone from a tool that we use to socialize, to connect, to share, to entertain, to educate, to a completely integrated extension of ourselves, completely integrated into our days, to the point where it affects our consciousness, our perception of reality. There are a lot of people that will openly admit that social media and scrolling is their number one time suck. Either with shame or acceptance, people know when they're chronically online. That being said, there are a growing number of people who are starting to think more critically about the way that they engage with social media, the amount of time that they spend scrolling, and the broader impact that that has on their sense of self. And at this point, I think most people who are at least somewhat introspective know that social media without boundaries is self-destruction. There is no way that you can endlessly consume something without it having an impact on your relationship with it and with yourself. And it's not hard to make the connection between growing feelings of discontentment and low self-worth, restlessness with the rise in the use of social media. People are looking for ways to use social media with more intention so that it's a positive experience, it has a positive impact on our lives. And I believe that that is a reflection of our changing attitudes towards consumerism, consumption, capitalism. We're becoming more aware. Social media is essentially a marketplace, and the reality is that none of us really have the money to be spending. And so you want a bunch of things that you can't have, and then where does that leave you? It's only going to further negatively impact your relationship with social media, with your finances, with yourself. To fix our relationship with social media so that we can use it in a way that actually feels good, we have to deconstruct our relationship with it, because we have to get to the root of the problem, which for a lot of us, it's addiction, just straight up addiction, like any other addiction. And deconstruction basically just means asking yourself questions about your relationship with social media, possibly your phone in general, and trying to have a deeper understanding of why you use it in the way that you do and what changes can be made to make it a more positive experience. And after deconstructing my own relationship with social media, I realized that the way that I use social media in practice does not align with the way that I intend to use it. I've always seen social media as a place to find inspiration and find connection, but honestly, I don't think that I have been very inspired by social media, not in an effective or constructive way. And if anything, it's just led me to feel inadequate. I think if social media were really inspiring me, I would scroll and then be picking up my camera. I would scroll and then be getting out there and having experiences that are going to influence my work. I'd be writing more. I'd be reading more. I would be trying to better myself right after scrolling. But instead, I get stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and feelings of low self-worth and shame about the things that I haven't been able to accomplish yet. The hardest realization that I've had during my deconstruction journey with social media is that I've spent about 10 years looking for inspiration that I don't think exists. I've been stuck in the mindset that if I scroll for long enough, I would find that one thing that would allow me to put my phone down and get to work. But that thing has never come. It's been 10 years and I have not been able to identify that thing. If I've seen it, then I wasn't able to identify it. So this epiphany that I've been waiting for hasn't come. What does that mean? I've just been scrolling for years and years and years, all the while hindering myself mentally and creatively. I've also been thinking about the way that I engage with my phone, and I've realized that a lot of my phone use is instinctual. It's habitual. It's like just automatically picking it up. I don't even think about it. Every time there's a pause in my day, I will just go for my phone to fill that silence, fill that gap. And this is how I know more often than not, I'm not using social media intentionally. And that's why using it doesn't feel good. I'm not being mindful of myself when I use it. I don't even want to use it. It's purely a subconscious, go grab your phone. It's pure instinct. And then once my hands go to grab for it, I get stuck. And then an hour goes by and oh my God, where did the time go? I didn't even mean to pick up my phone. So how do we use social media in a way that feels good, in a way that feels fulfilling, and in a way that feels constructive? I think that we have to start with rethinking the purpose of social media. So like for me, I've always thought of it as a place to get inspiration and to find new ideas. But it doesn't need to be a source of inspiration. It can be a place of creative and intellectual expression. It's a place that I can indulge in my curiosities. At this point, I want my social media to be the intersection of all the things that I'm interested in and the things that make me me, so that it is truly about me. There really is so much to do on social media, but the fact of the matter is that it will always be harder, more time consuming, and require a higher level of discipline than just scrolling. And that is like the tough part. Discipline comes from a place of, I don't want to say desperation. Desperation isn't the right word, but a hunger. Like you have to be hungry for something. You have to be hungry in order to give up things to get it. You have to give up the comfort of reaching for your phone. You have to give up old habits that feel really comfortable and safe. But once you get really intentional about the way that you use social media and the way that you consume content, social media stops being this ball and chain. Like you get control of your time back. You have to be really critical about who you follow. You have to get really comfortable with that I'm not interested, block, unfollow buttons. Who and what you engage with should reflect your why for being on social media. And I think in order to create a social media environment that feels safe for us to fully express ourselves, we have to get good at blocking accounts that do not align with the type of content you want to consume, that is good for you to consume. For me, it's lifestyle content. I have not been able to find a way to watch lifestyle content without certain feelings of, I wouldn't say envy or jealousy. Again, like I think I look at other people and I'm like, that would be so great to have, but you don't have that. So you ain't shit. You also need to set boundaries with when you are allowed to mindlessly scroll. I'm not anti-brain rot. I'm not anti-scrolling. I just think that there has to be structure to it. And if it is your time to, be brain dead and disassociate and just scroll for hours, like make sure that that's the intention. So if your limit is 5 hours a day of scrolling, that's fine. But make sure that that's the limit that you actually want for yourself. For me, the morning time. I cannot scroll in the morning. If I wake up and scroll on my phone, I will spend an extra hour just laying there, not getting up, not getting my day started. And I think if I spent an hour every morning working on my YouTube, working on my writing, that's an extra 7 hours a week. Like, that's a lot of time that I could be, like, what opportunities am I missing out on? Am I blocking myself from because I choose scrolling over doing anything else? And that scares me. That scares me a lot. When you post, you have to ask yourself, does this post reflect who I am, the message that I'm trying to send, or what my values are? Like sometimes when I make YouTube videos, I'm speaking to an audience. Sometimes when I make YouTube videos, I'm speaking to myself. If the video isn't serving me or serving others, then I don't need to waste my time and energy making it. Especially as an ADHD girly, every single second I spend doing things is one less second that I can spend doing something else. And I know that sounds like no duh, but I have a very limited amount of energy points. And when I put 10 energy points into something that doesn't really mean anything, doesn't convey who I am, what I'm going for, I'm not going to have any energy left to get to the good stuff. I don't know why I said 10 in particular, but you know what I mean. I don't want to waste my time posting something that doesn't mean anything to me when I could be doing literally anything else. That being said, giving myself freedom with the sort of content that I post, especially on TikTok and YouTube, has completely changed my relationship with social media. I used to get really stressed out about whether or not the things that I posted were cohesive, consistent. I felt like I had started something and I would have to constantly adhere to like an aesthetic or a perception that I'm trying to communicate with other people. And so planning and posting content became this really huge wall that I had to get over. Like I loved posting content. I loved being on social media, but it became stressful to post, and that was because I was too worried about making sure that everything fit together perfectly. But now I post what I want pretty much when I want. As you can see, I used to post photography videos, and now I post mostly talking videos, and that was because when it came to posting photography videos, I was feeling so much resistance to doing it. It's not that I didn't love posting about it, but I found it really hard to dedicate hours of my time to posting photography videos. And I wasn't really doing it for me. I was doing it for an audience, and I wasn't able to find that balance between posting for me and posting for others. And so I think I just burnt out from it. But I allowed myself to pivot to a different type of content because at the time it reflected what was important to me and what was going on in my life. And so now I'm able to post a lot more consistently, and I enjoy posting more consistently because I feel more aligned with the sort of content that I'm making, intellectually, creatively, emotionally, etc., etc. I do want to add that some social media platforms will just not be for you. I have not found an enjoyable way to use Instagram without being miserable within 5-10 minutes of opening the app. It's never constructive. It's never fun. I'm never catching up with people. I always revisit Instagram to see if there's that spark of curiosity or motivation to like start posting. But honestly, I never have a desire to engage on that app ever. And it doesn't make me feel good. The only reason why I don't delete it is because as a photographer, I feel like there is a pressure to have a presence on Instagram, even if you don't post, like to have it there. It feels too constrictive. I do not feel like I can fully express myself on Instagram. I do not feel like my Instagram is a safe space. I don't know if it's because it's too public. I don't know if it's because there's too many people from different parts of my life, but there's something about Instagram that does not feel safe. And I don't want to waste my time in a space where I do not feel safe, do not feel comfortable posting. You definitely have to find the space online that you feel most comfortable in. Sometimes that means building the space that you feel most comfortable in and focus your time and energy there. Instagram wasn't working for me, which is why I started my YouTube channel. I wanted a new way to express myself, a new place to share my thoughts, a new place to share my photography, and a YouTube channel really feels like it's mine. When people come to my YouTube channel, they're seeing me. They're seeing my values, they're seeing what's important to me, they're seeing my thoughts, they're seeing my reflections. They're not seeing any sort of identity or aesthetic that I'm trying to portray. Like they see me. Whereas Instagram was very, you gotta follow the aesthetic, you gotta do this, you gotta posts have to be cohesive in the grid, and it's just exhausting. So I like that YouTube allowed me to just show up. I don't know what it is about humans, but we oftentimes stay in spaces that we are not comfortable in, that we don't feel safe in. It's the same with toxic relationships, toxic friendships, toxic households, like toxic work environments. Like we're always staying in situations that do not feel safe, because I think the idea of leaving that space and giving that part of yourself up is very scary, because then it leaves an emptiness. And I think the same can be said about online spaces as well. We stay because, like I said, it's fully integrated into our lives. And so losing that part of yourself is very scary. That being said, if the voice in your head is telling you you don't belong here, maybe you should listen. When people say posting online isn't fun anymore, what I hear is I have not found a space that feels safe for me yet. Your social media is for you, and in the age of influencers, in the age of the social media marketplace, I think we've really lost that point. Creation in any capacity is so important, and I think social media provides us with a very real opportunity to be creative and make something out of nothing. I'm so passionate about social media, and I feel like we could have something so beautiful within the chaos if we approach social media from a place of intention and mindfulness. It feels like the collective attitude towards social media is feeling a little bit negative. It's getting a little bit sour. And I think that's because we're exhausted. We're tired of the advertising. We're tired of the influencers. We're tired of the comparison. We're tired of all the noise. But truthfully, while I think social media is a problem, I don't think it's the problem. I think we are the problem. Social media is a reflection of us as a species, us as a society. I think that we feel like social media is this big bad thing because we have lost our sense of agency within it. And this is why deconstruction is so important in the context of getting to the root of the problem with social media. If you don't deeply understand why you engage with social media in the way that you do, you lose that feeling of control. You lose that sense of control because you don't know why what's happening is happening. But the reality is that you do have complete control. You just have to decide that it's time to take the control back. No one is coming to save you from your phone. You have to be the one to advocate for your time, for your energy, for your mental health, for your creativity. And that's why I said it is extremely hard to transform your relationship with social media because it requires discipline. And it's very hard to be disciplined if you aren't hungry for the change. It's incredibly hard, but be mindful that the way that you spend your days is the way that you spend your life, and you don't get that time back. And that's very scary. So use it wisely. That's all I have to say. I will talk to you later.